And we're back. Welcome to the Cinema Draft Podcast, where fantasy sports meets the movies. And our late game savior, our Deus Ex Machina, our player to be named now, has dropped in to save the pod. You know her, you love her. She's been known as the official therapist of the pod. It is Nikk Ward.
Hello.
Thank you for coming in to bail out my podcast last minute.
Last minute,
the closer. Tonight's abbreviated pod, because someone is approaching her bedtime. Tonight's abbreviated pod word of the game or of the night is well, actually, I can't even say it. You know what? It's going to be lovely, because we will be covering a lot of lovely weddings and beautiful matrimonial events in this podcast. That will be our focus tonight. So every time you hear the word lovely, take a sip, what you're sipping, and play along with the rest of us. And first segment, it's a new one we're trying out this week. How's your quarantine going, Nikk?
Oh wow, we have like surprise segments now. So it's
organized now.
It's going as well as to be expected. I finally adjusted and habituated, meaning got used to being at home 24/7 as of last Thursday. So that feels awesome.
All right.
Because it's not a distressing feeling, but just being able to notice the different things that let me know that I'm starting to adjust to being home and adjust to the situation, so that I won't be in a constant state of high stress and just regular levels of stress that you're going to experience while you're in a crisis. Yeah.
That's good. You get your exercise and all that. I mean, staying sane.
Exercising, meditating, doing all sorts of things, making sure that I have a definitive bookend on the start and beginning of my day, especially since I now am seeing all my clients online. So it's being able to make sure that I'm holding enough personal space as well. And it's a rhythm. It is a rhythm. We have to be really fluid and flexible during this time.
Well, if anyone is prepared for facing down the apocalypse with mental clarity, it is Nicole, the official therapist of the pod.
Bruh.
Okay. So next segment, what I'm watching, and we'll just briefly go over some of these. Actually, the first one I was going to talk about is The Banker. It's the Apple Plus show with movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie, and it's about it's inspired by a true story of the real life black businessmen in LA who did real estate deals in the 50s and 60s, who eventually end up hiring a white front man to get their deals done, and they end up buying 2 banks in Texas. And it's still worth taking a look at, still worth a watch. And actually, let me see if I can find some. Maybe I can share my screen. We can do an IMDb real quick, and it's worth a watch. I enjoyed Sam and everything. I mean, it's fine. Won't bowl you over, but it's enjoyable. But I will say, what I'm really digging these days is Perks for the Wallflower. Is that right? Yeah, Perks for the Wallflower. I just watched it last night. I can't stop thinking about it. Have you seen Perks for the Wallflower, Nicole?
I have. I enjoyed it. It was a few years ago. Well, no, more than a few, but it was some years ago.
Yeah, 2012. Logan Lerman is the lead, and Emma Watson. And I mean, I've never been like a huge Emma Watson fan. I mean, she's fine, but I mean, she really looked great in this movie. She really was like that teenage object of affection, and I thought it was a perfect little movie. I enjoyed it immensely. Very kind of heartwarming, heartfelt, with a really kind of dark turn in the third act that eventually ends up finding its level, and everyone's kind of like restored, and everyone's grown, and it felt really, for lack of a better word, wholesome, like a John Hughes movie.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's great. I enjoyed it. A lot of and this the same author director of the movie Ezra Miller. I'm not sure you've been on Twitter the last 48 hours. Apparently Ezra Miller, who's like the third lead in this movie, has been canceled for doing some really dumb shit. Yeah, he was choking a woman out on camera at a bar in Iceland. It's really
Yeah,
random.
that's totally not okay. Very inappropriate. That is a shame.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, this is, as I was mentioning to you off air. It seems like us being cooped up or the high anxiety of quarantine times, just letting everyone's mask come off. But that was not cool. But anyways, not to dwell on it. But yeah, that was a bad look for him. But otherwise, he's great in this movie, as is Logan Lerman and Emma Watson. And I cannot recommend it enough. Yes,
Great.
Perks of a Wallflower. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Now, I'm going to take some incoming on this, and I'm okay with it. But I watched it the other night, and I wanted to like it more. Have you seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire, my lady?
I have not. But now that you pull it up, I do recall seeing the previews for that last year. I can't remember what movie we had gone to see, but I do remember the previews.
Look, I will say, first of all, I think it's largely it's either in French or Italian. I'm actually at a loss of. There are a few languages being spoken in this film, but it's a foreign film, which is fine. We're readers here, and it's beautifully shot. It's a period costume, drama. That's fine. That hits all my spots. Whatever, gorgeous leads. This woman right here, she's like a painter who's brought in to paint the portrait of a young nun who's been promised to some, Milanese, rich guy she's never met. Yeah, I think it's like 16th century, maybe, French, France or something like that. And, they fall in love, and it's very beautiful, and a lot of, yearning looks and deep furrowed brows and just like a lot of, the costuming's great. Look at this. She was practicing. So she practiced some social distancing before it was cool. She has a little veil and everything over her little mask over her face and stuff. Very haunting, beautiful portraits. But there is absolutely no musical score. Can you remember the last time you saw a movie with no background music?
No, I can't.
And if you did, would you imagine it'd be great? Because this was not. I was disturbed at how much. I get it. Music can be a crutch. It can be manipulative. It can overly tell us how to feel and things of that nature. I get that. But out of like something, it's quiet throughout, except for one or two scenes where someone plays the piano and then there's like a song being sang. Otherwise, like look at, this picture right here for those watching on YouTube. This is a really sweet moment, and there are some, longing stares and some real sweetness, and I really would have appreciated, a bit of a musical score. Didn't have to bring out Hans Zimmer or, James Newton Howard or any of the big boys or girls. Actually, the woman who won the Oscar for Joker, she probably would have been great with this. Hildur something daughter or whatever, the very Scandinavian name. She would have been great with this, but no, got nothing. Absolutely nothing. It totally took me out of the movie. I wanted to enjoy it more because there's so many pauses and rich looks. I wanted more. I wanted more for it. So I liked it okay, but I didn't really like it,
You needed some music.
And that sounds so basic. And I know this movie is like a real hit with people, especially art house types, and especially women everywhere. People are raving about this movie, and it's beautiful to look at. I need me a score. I'm sorry, I'm basic.
I didn't say that. I wouldn't say that that's basic. That's just something that you needed.
I'll call myself bad. It's fine. And the last thing I'm watching is Westworld. Are you watching Westworld, Nikk?
I am not. I've been told that it's really good, but I have not seen Westworld.
This season, it's really good. Last season was really confusing and really put a lot of people off Westworld. I can't say I blame them, but it's very philosophical. It's set in the future. This season it's 2053, the year 2053, and they're going. Androids. Obviously, the general plot behind it, I'm sure you're aware of. Androids in a park go crazy, take over, just like the 1974 film, I think, that I saw, Yul Brynner. Only obviously a lot more sophisticated and really great actors. Anyways, it's really engaging this year. The future looks incredible, very sleek. Have you seen some of at least the trailers, some of like the visuals of Westworld?
I saw a little bit of it because I was like, oh, they're not in the Old West anymore.
Oh no, yeah, they left the theme park. I mean, I'm not sure if you'll ever get to the show, but spoiler alert: the theme park is actually a way that they were using to siphon human data and basically AI themselves into replicating humanity even better than humans or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And yeah, and so this was actually from last night's or from Sunday night's episode. They're actually in a motel in Victorville where fly to the stars, right? So I'm an amateur futurist. When I was a kid, I used to get Popular Mechanics. I used to love, seeing all the little future gadgets and stuff. And it was great because, I was always like kind of, seeing what's next. And these guys have really created a realistic idea of what the future could look like. Like so in Victorville is kind of like the launching point for these, for rocket travel. Have you heard of rocket travel at all? Are you familiar?
I am not.
I can hear you rolling your eyes. We can't see you, Nikk. I can feel you rolling your eyes. Rocket travel is just like, so you know how Elon Musk has his SpaceX program with the rockets up in the sky and then come back down the same spot?
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept, except that you can use rocket travel to travel anywhere in the world like under an hour. So you can go from like, LA area, Victorville, which I think is a joke. I mean, who really goes to Victorville? But Victorville's always kind of played out as like some sort of Southland terminus for like high-speed rail or, pie in the sky type projects. But you can take like a rocket from Victorville and go to Tokyo in like half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, because you just go straight up in the atmosphere and then kind of, orbit a little bit, then come straight down over in Tokyo. It'd be awesome.
Pretty cool.
Very cool. So they do stuff like that, real life applications of the future. And I just dig it. And the clothes are great. And then, you've got Tandy Newton here, just the ultimate badass robot. Like she's, it's a really good cast. I enjoy it.
Okay.
It was good this week. Anything you want to tell us that you're watching on the fly?
Oh, I've been really I've been working. So I've been kind of boring in terms of my TV watching. When I just spoke to you, I was in the middle of watching Mixed-ish.
I enjoy that show.
Yeah, it's a cute show. And Masked Singer. I have been keeping up with the Masked Singer.
I see. Please tell us the appeal behind that show, because I don't really get reality shows except for like the really drama-filled ones like Real Housewives or Married to Medicine.
Fun competition, and we've kind of used it as a family show, which is that we'll kind of like wonder and guess who the performers are under the mask ourselves, and it's just become like a bonding activity, especially now that we are all in our respective areas and watching it via Zoom. So
okay. So who was the most surprising Masked Singer you've seen so far?
Let's see, I'm gonna think of like a spoiler. I don't want to give any spoilers. There's been a lot of surprises, and this season, the way that they've done it has been fun. They've had people on there that you wouldn't guess.
These costumes are excellent. Nick Cannon, man. I mean, for a dude that inherently corny, he stays getting paid. He's the
perfect like game show host. He does really well on this show, and but he did well on Wild and Out. So
that's right.
Right, it's just kind of a fun show. It's a family show. You can kind of just have fun with it, and especially right now, where being able to kind of take your engage in a little bit of escapism that's controlled, and being able to watch music and try to guess.
All right, Masked Singer, you heard it here first, y'all. All right, Mixed-ish Masked Singer. All right. So we're keeping this thing moving on to our topic of the week. We're going to go through our top 3 wedding movies. Why weddings? Well, damn it, congratulations. Our girl Nikk is going to be adding an official Mr. Therapist husband of the pod soon. So in honor of her, we are going to do our top 3 wedding movies of our, I guess, that we like. We will, basically the way the game is played is you name a wedding movie. We alternate picks. Once someone picks that movie, the movie's out of play. And since you pinch hit so wonderfully, you get the first pick, Nikk.
Okay, so how with pinch hitting do I end up with the... Okay.
Oh, do you need more time? Okay, it's fine. I'm
going to pull out an oldie that is from 1997. and that is My Best Friend's Wedding.
Ah, nice one.
Bruh.
Great pick. Love it. My Best Friend's Wedding. Tell us why you like My Best Friend's Wedding.
It just was really cute, and it was really popular with the genre and the time. And Julia Roberts, that's
Peak Julia Roberts. She was on that like 5-year run.
And it was, it's kind of a zany movie and just feel good and fun. And I think that even how like it ends was not what people might have even suspected during that time, because it wasn't necessarily a traditional type end for the movies that were out then. And I thought it was good. The cast, everybody in there, Cameron Diaz, like her just kind of being new to the scene even then, and everyone strong, solid performances. Just a fun, feel-good movie.
Very charming Rupert Everett. I mean, there was a Rupert Everett moment, and I don't think he's gotten as much work, in these last few years, but he was definitely like the hot sidekick during the 90s. Absolutely. Yeah, Best Friend's Wedding. All right, excellent, great first choice. I'm gonna take one of my favorite movies off the list, and it's The Wedding Planner. J-Lo.
Good choice. Good choice.
McConaughey. Woo!
Good choice.
Whoa, watch out, says that bird.
I love me some J. Well, I mean, we all love J-Lo. She now she's officially a national treasure. Back then, I mean, and it's funny watching some of our most revered stars, especially as they enter, I don't know, the cougar area and the cat daddy era, the 50 plus, some of our favorite long lasting stars. Just seeing how their careers have kind of ebbed and flowed or whatever. This is definitely during one of J-Lo and McConaughey's actually flowed periods. Like there was a time, dear watcher, dear listener, if you are a millennial or younger, where McConaughey was just the go-to rom-com king. Like he wasn't, he was always a bit of a weird, choice, but he was playing it pretty straight earlier on in his career. He's making his money. He's doing, how to lose a guy in 10 days and Failure to Launch. And if there's a rom-com that needed, a blonde guy in it, he was there. Some reason he's in The Wedding Planner. No one had really any great, hopes going into it. Look at this, a pre-Grey's Anatomy Justin Chambers. You'd love to see it. He had no idea he'd go on like just 3 years from then onto like a 16-year run, one of the most long-lasting medical dramas of all time. Anyways, it's nice, it's cute little cast. J-Lo plays, I guess, an Italian. This is way before. I mean, I don't think anyone really would have cared one way or the other, but no one's caring about any appropriation, whatever. But she played some sort of like Italian wedding planner who was great at planning everyone's weddings, but couldn't get love of her own. And she has a meet cute, this handsome guy, falls for him, and then she finds out that he's actually the groom in the wedding she's planning. It's some classic high concept 90s stuff. And I love this movie to pieces. What did you think of The Wedding Planner, Nikk?
Ed, that's up there on my list as well. Really enjoyed the fun, quirky kind of chemistry that existed between her and McConaughey. And funny side note is that McConaughey does sleep stories on the Calm app, and and I can say that it works. Like when you listen to him, you fall asleep on there. So it's just being able to see like the fun, just back and forth with them, and that it didn't feel forced. So I really did enjoy this movie as well.
They had really great chemistry, and not in the type of like, it's going to melt the screen type energy, but it seemed like it was a nice, sweet energy that you really kind of bought, like, yeah, they'd be into each other, and they'd actually, they could actually have something that would be nice and could last. It's not like a body heat type chemistry, but like oh yeah, it makes sense together. So that's my first pick. What's your second pick, Nikk?
Okay, I'm just gonna stay in the 90s. Apparently, The Best Man.
Oh, that was gonna be one of mine. Great pick.
I couldn't believe that didn't come off the board, so I needed to take it.
You know what? Yeah, excellent choice. Go ahead and tell the people why you love The Best Man as wedding flick.
It's just a great cast again, like solid performances. Really funny to like look at this, and for it to be more of like a breakout movie for so many of them that are still in the spotlight now. So just seeing like the strong performance with Terrence Howard and Taye Diggs, Nia Long, like the entire cast, and just the fact that it brought a different kind of movie into the mainstream from what we might have been used to during the 90s. That this was just a sweet, fun Friends movie that had an all Black cast, which was something that had not necessarily been done as much. And being able to just have that 90s feel to it, late 90s.
Yeah, everyone showing up for this premiere. I mean, it was very well cast. I mean, I'm trying to think. It definitely launched Regina Hall. Regina Hall was there, was in this movie as like the stripper Candy at the party, and that I think that was like her first like really visible role, and gave us Regina Hall. So for that alone, thank you, best man. That was incredible. So yes, great pick. Oh boy, now I'm kind of scrambling. So let me think for a second. That was definitely a great one to take. Oh, of course. What am I thinking? I'm crazy.
I'm
My
excited.
pick.
The
My
first
pick.
time that I'm like playing this right.
No, no. Well done. Well done. You don't have to compete with Momo this time either. Our friend Monet Moore. All right. So I'm going Wedding Crashers. I mean, it doesn't get much more wedding than this. I mean, their entire existence is to crash weddings. It's hilarious. It's eminently rewatchable. I mean, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, at the height of their powers, just being as silly as they want to be, never use your real name. All those little wedding crashing rules and stuff, free drinks, why not? I mean, and it looks like they had a ball while they were making it too. It's so much fun. This movie kind of didn't necessarily give us Rachel McAdams, but it was definitely like a nice movie to see her in. I think this is on the heels of The Notebook too, so I'm like, oh, okay, she can do this as well. Okay, like she can be kind of funny when she wants to be. So yeah, and she was very sweet, very kind of girl next door. We really wanted her for him against who was the guy Bradley Cooper. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that. Bradley Cooper was the oafish boyfriend. I mean, Isla Fisher, so well cast, really funny. Wedding Crashers, can't go wrong.
I like it.
All right. Any thoughts on Wedding Crashers, or do you remember Wedding Crashers?
I remember Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers was a fun movie. Just kind of, the humor involved and the buddy. It was like a buddy movie set with a wedding background, which was a different kind of twist on that kind of movie as well.
Yeah, and I mean, and also just from the whole, keep getting your checks lane. I mean, the producer behind this, Brian Grazer. I mean, that guy's just good at his job. I mean, because we talked extensively about Boomerang last week on the pod, and he was behind Boomerang as an executive producer. I mean, Imagine Entertainment, the shop he co-runs with Ron Howard. I think they're together. I think they're still together. I mean, just what a great production company. They've given us some of the most endearing movies that have lasted over the years, and Wedding Crash is one of them. Brian Grazer, hats off to you. All right, so what's your next film, Nikk?
I'm going to still stay in the 90s and go with, I don't think it's an unusual pick. We're going to say Four Weddings and a Funeral.
The entire title just invites you to pick it. Now, not the TV show, not the Hulu show, the original Four Weddings and a Funeral movie, Annie McDowell and your boy, Hugh Grant, wax poetic about Four Weddings and a Funeral, Nikk.
It just was it was fun. It was a feel good again movie, watching the group of friends go through and honestly mature through the stages of the movie as they attended four weddings and a funeral. And it was just really great to see their character arcs and being able, again, apparently I like solid performances from all the cast, and just the fun moments even with Hugh Grant's character and his roommate, and just the moments that were subtly funny with even some of their conversations or just interactions when they were in their apartment. So solid movie.
Yeah, Hugh Grant, heartthrob of the '90s, living high off life, married to Elizabeth Hurley. He was just the man. We all know what kind of happened later, but he was the man.
And honestly, I watched the Hulu series, and they did a decent job.
Really? Because I kept hearing conflicting reports about it, mostly that they didn't like it. So I wasn't, I mean, it takes a lot for me to watch something on Hulu anyways, but.
Got it.
I just but I mean, is it worth my time? Should I seek it out or?
I say check it out. I mean, we have time, so I say check it out.
All right, fair enough. And I will close this out with Bridesmaids. Yes,
Yes,
Bridesmaids. Kind of ironic that a dude is bringing this up, but it is the ultimate. It
there's
is.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know me. I love my ladies. You know, most of my friends are women, so no doubt, I definitely can relate to a movie this hilarious, raucous, and funny. And just seeing the camaraderie among the women, the little factions within the women. This really did kind of elevate Melissa McCarthy on big screen, at least. She had a great. The whole thing on the plane was pretty hilarious, and it gave us some pretty iconic performances. Look at Maya Rudolph. Just, I mean, look at that dress. What? What are we doing? And Kristen Wiig was awesome. And this one, I mean, Paul Rudd's everywhere as usual, but this one really brought the cop. What's his name? Chris O'Dowd. Chris O'Dowd.
Oh yeah.
He's awesome. Do you ever? I don't know if you have Epics, but he's the lead on Get Shorty. They did like a TV version of Get Shorty, and it is incredible. It's so good, but it's on the Epics network, so no one really watched it. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Yeah, it's a Chris O'Dowd delivery system. He's great. He's using his natural Irish accent, and he's just having a ball. But yeah, Bridesmaids. Anyways, get out of that cultural cul-de-sac. Bridesmaids is hella funny. You know, stands test of time. I mean, look at these ladies. I mean, you know, Maya, Kristen, Ellie Kemper, Wendy McClendon Covey. I think she has that show on ABC. She has a show on ABC, McCarthy, and then this one that's not Leighton Meester. That's I forget her. Oh, Rose Byrne. Duh. Yeah, she was great.
Doesn't it show the cast on here?
I mean, I'm just going through the pictures. I mean, yeah. So I want to hear it from memory. Damn it! This is a Cinema Draft podcast. We're supposed to be about movies here. I should know this. I should know these things. Yes, Rose Byrne. Damn it, Rose Byrne is great. Very great. Oh, look at the French poster. Mes meilleurs amis, the best friends. Alleron, hilarious. San Francisco Chronicle.
It was a classic movie. There. I think people could identify with some of the challenges that happen when you are a part of a wedding party, and the fun parts too. So I think that it was a great movie.
A real mother, yes. All right, well done, and thanks for that pinch hit. So usually this is where we would take a break to discuss how we play the game of Cinema Draft. So everyone watching at home, we'll just pause the video for a second, and we will be right back. Okay, so since our over-unders have been mothballed till whenever the theaters open back up, we're doing our quarantine movie of the week. Last week's quarantine movie of the week was Uncut Gems. Appreciate you following along on our Twitter account. Right. Today we posted Booksmart. Tomorrow's quarantine movie of the week, or our Wednesday, when most of you will hear this or see this, will be American Factory. Have you seen American Factory, Nick?
I have not heard of American Factory.
Oh, well, that's Emmy-winning American Factory to you. This is the first production from the Obamas. This is Barack and Michelle Obama's content company. Yeah, I mean, I think they just kind of purchased it or helped throw their name on to help get more publicity. But when it was sold to Netflix and debuted last summer, I watched it. It's a fascinating documentary of what happens when a Chinese based company opens up a factory in once decaying Midwest town, and seeing what happens when Chinese leadership style takes over American workers. And it was interesting. I mean, they do not, and yet see these are the producers and director with their Oscars, well deserved. And I mean,
I was off my game this time.
No, but it's good. It's on Netflix. It's readily available. They own it. And it was interesting because labor laws, all sorts of stuff, totally different feel in the East. There's one part of the film where they take a bunch of executives from the Ohio-based, I think it's Ohio, the Ohio-based town, and fly them over to China and see how their whole factories are run. Did you know that some of these factories, they really want the factory to be like your entire life ecosystem. So they are having mass weddings. Yes, mass weddings in the factory at the plant.
Wow,
That was some crazy shit.
that's different.
I mean, I know you're an independent contractor now, but last time you worked for the man, could you ever imagine getting married at your job?
No.
Nope. That's right.
Absolutely not.
Bruh. Yeah. So, anyways, it's a really good, pretty moving, portrayal of just kind of like crossing the cultural divide. How our two countries, look at work and labor and everything, and it's worth your time. Check it out. So that's going to be our quarantine movie of the day tomorrow and for the week. Yay!
Hey.
All right, and this is missing an air horn. There we go. All right, so let's bring this in for a landing. Thank you, Nikk. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause.
All right, yay! The air horn's still present. No minions. What?
Oh, this is major key. No minions, or I can't find the button. I don't know. It'd be no minions.
Well, thank you. Yes, pitch hit. Wow.
Okay. Great job. This is a very ramshackle edition of the pod. Thanks for bearing with us. Anything you want to plug, Nikk, besides your own wedding?
Not gonna plug my wedding. And just really for people to attend to their mental health. There's actually most of us are working virtually and online, and just being able to reach out and exercise all of those kind of support systems that you may need, and stay emotionally connected while we are physically distancing ourselves from one another. Check out all the hotlines, because unfortunately a lot of other types of abuse have gone up during this. So just really wanting to plug for people to be well in every area, including their mental health, because mind and body are linked, and being able to protect your mental health is an immunity booster. So just want to do that.
Ugh, you're so healthy all the time. How can you stand it? I swear.
And to also have some outlets, have some fun. This is serious. It's a crisis, but we have to be able to also have some levity within there as well. So yes, and pinch hitting, jumped on here, kind of tired, but I made it through.
We appreciate that. The official therapist of the pod. And lest I forget, before I go, we will be introducing on Thursday the third edition of our social CD game, the Social Cinema Draft game, posted to our Twitter account @PlayCinemaDraft. Make sure you check it out. This week, millennials. That's right. So picked exactly 5 actors. You must have at least one headliner, one co-star, one day player. You must stay under $100. Let's see your cast. Title them. See what you come up with. Looking forward to seeing what you have. So that will go up Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, @PlayCinemaDraft on the Twitters. And once again, thanks for pinch hitting, Nikk. We appreciate you. You've been a real trooper, and we look forward to having you back, potentially with your partner in crime, the Momolani-san, Monet Moore.
Out of retirement.
Is she retired from this, or just? I know we have.
I was like, we've come out of retirement. Me too.
No, more like I've come out of retirement, and I appreciate your patience. It's been quite a 2 years, let me tell you.
I understand.
Yes, but thanks for being on the show. Appreciate you being on, and everybody stay in, stay safe. The therapist of the pod told you to guard your mental health, and instead of going see a movie or something, quarantine, chill, and see a movie or something. Peace. Till next week.
Bye.